Hey guys, Eddie here from Priority. Let's go over how to change a flat on your e-Coast. We recommend that any repairs that are done on your bike be done by a professional mechanic. If you choose to follow this video and repair the bike yourself, we suggest taking it down to your local bike shop for a safety check afterwards. Let's go over the tools. A big adjustable wrench or an 18mm open wrench if you have one. Scissors or diagonal cutters. A tire lever. A zip tie, and of course, an air pump.
Perfect.
Let's get into the repair. You can do this repair with the bike on the kickstand. So to get ready to do the repair, start by switching your battery to the off position and take your key and remove the battery from the bike. So first, cut the zip tie that holds the motor wire to the bike. Be careful not to cut the wire. Now unplug it. Now remove the plastic caps that cover the axle nuts. There's one on each side. Take your wrench and loosen the axle nuts. You don't have to remove them, just loosen them enough to get the wheel out. Now you can tilt the bike forward on the stand. Take the belt off the rear cog. And just get the wire out of the way. You can just pick up the bike and take the wheel right out. I like to just rest the bike back on the kickstand. Now if there's any air remaining in the tire, you can just depress the valve core to let the rest out. Now that we've got the rest of the air out, use your tire lever and hook it under the bead of the tire. That's the edge of the inside of the tire there. Pull it over the outside of the rim and pull towards you. All the way around. Now, you can start to remove that inner tube. And I'm just going to pull the tire back to get access to the part of the inner tube where the valve is. Now we can just pull that valve out, set the wheel aside, and now it's time to inspect the inner tube. So I like to put air in the inner tube and pump it up bigger than normal, and then you can feel around to see where the air is coming out. If the air is coming out on the outside of the inner tube, that means there's probably something stuck in your tire that punctured it. If you got air, or if you can feel air coming out of the inside of the inner tube, that means you likely pinched the rear tire really hard and pinched the tube. So you might want to consider putting a bit more air in the rear tire next time, or just avoiding that really sharp bump. So now, with your replacement inner tube, air it up until it takes the shape of the tire, like this. Take your tube, find the valve, and locate the valve hole in the rim. And just pull your tire back, and feed the valve through the valve hole, like so. Now just feed that tube back into the tire. Now you're going to start seating the bead back onto the rim. So just fit it over the edge and just work your way around opposite the valve. As you get further from the valve, it's going to get tighter. So let me show you a trick for this part. So I'm just pinching in to help loosen up a little bit more bead. All right, now at this point, you can just finish it off like so. Now let's reinflate the tire. e-Coast tires call for 30 psi, so that's what we're aiming for. Once you get the tire up to pressure, remove the pump, take the wheel, and we're ready to reinstall it on the bike. So you can see that the axle itself is flattened on both sides, and there's a washer with a tab. So when you go to reinstall the wheel, you just want to make sure that that tab is on the bottom, and the axle goes up this way into the dropouts. Pick the bike up and lean it out of the way so you have room to get the wheel and tire just about in position. I'm just going to set it back down on the kickstand with the wheel almost in place. So just loop your belt onto the front and rear sprockets. And now I'm going to flip the kickstand down to allow the weight of the bike to push the wheel up into the dropouts. So you want to guide it up in there. As you're putting the wheel in, just keep an eye on the rotor, and you want to align it with the opening here in the caliper, and that'll help guide the wheel in for you. Now just make sure that the washers are out of the way. Cool, and it should go right in. Now you can start to tighten your axle nuts down. With a little bit of weight on the back of the bike, you can go ahead and snug those up with your wrench. Remember to do both sides. Now that the rear wheel is reattached, we can put the bike back up on the kickstand. Now you can go ahead and reinstall the plastic covers for the axle nuts. Now you can go ahead and plug the motor wire back in. So plugging this in, you want to make sure that the arrows on the outside are perfectly aligned. And if they are, you can go ahead and push it all the way in. Now take your new zip tie and attach the cable to the bike. Just keeps it from flopping around. And of course, you want to snip off that excess zip tie. Now you can go ahead and reinstall your battery. Flip the bike on. Make sure it powers on. You can push it forward to lift the rear wheel up and make sure it spins. For any work such as this, you want to make sure it's either performed or checked by a professional mechanic. If you have any questions about this or anything else priority related, we're available 7 days a week. The contact information is on your screen.